to spotlight the Alphabet earnings that are due out after the bell today. We want to look at a lot of these names, the themes that we've been watching when it comes to these tech names. Ahmed Khan is with us, equity analyst technology over at Morningstar. Thank you for being with us. There have been a lot of things that people are looking forward to when it comes to Alphabet. What are some of your thoughts here as the stock is trading up about 2% today?
First of all, thanks so much for having me, Nicole. So when we're looking at Alphabet's earnings, there are two key things that we have our eye on. The first one is we saw Meta report. We saw that digital advertising for the fourth quarter was pretty strong, as you'd expect for the holiday quarter, which is seasonally strong. We're expecting some more commentary on AI monetization via ads. So if you recall, Alphabet actually started monetizing their AI overview back in October. So we're expecting some more commentary on that front. The second thing that I highlight is how strong Google Cloud is. I think that's something that most investors are keeping a very keen eye on, because us included, we think that Google Cloud is going to be the next growth engine for Alphabet as a whole. So any commentary on that in terms of monetizing some of the large capital expenditures the company has been making in their large language models.
So at this point now, I don't know what your target is, but we're seeing the stock really sitting at new highs around 206 and change. AI obviously in focus, maybe any cloud concerns. You also have the China story where China really is targeting Google, Nvidia, Intel. No doubt, right? I mean, I guess that's an ongoing story, but even more so now with the tariff talk, maybe.
For sure. I mean, obviously, when we're thinking about some of the cons or some of the downsides when looking at Alphabet or the risks that investors should consider, antitrust concerns both abroad and in the U.S. are definitely top of mind. So in August, obviously, you had the big Google search ruling that really questioned a lot of investor confidence in Alphabet since the stock has come up. But obviously, I mean, there's the China probe that was announced yesterday, or relaunched yesterday rather. But there's similar probes into Google's market dominance in Europe as well. So that's something definitely investors should keep in mind when looking at a company like Alphabet.
So when we see this stock at 205 today, what does it say to you? I mean, it's not as frothy as some of the other tech stocks, right? I mean, where do you think the fair value really is? What's your bull case on a name like this?
Yeah, so our fair value is actually ahead of the stock price right now. So our fair value is at 220. We could see further upside to our fair value based on some of the factors that I mentioned: AI monetization in the ad space, stronger than expected Google Cloud growth. Again, sort of like talking about those growth levers for Alphabet, and improving profitability on the Google Cloud side, right? So you've seen a remarkable sort of turnaround in profitability in Google Cloud. If you keep on seeing that, that could sort of like drive further upside to our fair value estimate. In terms of our bull case, so the way we think about Alphabet is that our bull case would be at current sort of like pre-earnings would be around $250. And that is, again, sort of baking in stronger growth assumptions on the Google Cloud side, on YouTube, and also factoring in further growth from some of the other bets, such as Waymo.
So as the stock is hitting new highs, new all-time highs, when you see pullbacks like what we saw on Monday and last Monday, do you say these are buying opportunities for some of the tech names? I mean, which names do you sort of run to first?
So on Monday, Alphabet was down 3-ish%, 3 to 4%. We put out a note actually sort of backing companies like Alphabet and Microsoft and Amazon. And the reason is that we do not think that a reduction in actual like LLM prices, which was proven by DeepSeek, is bad at all for these public cloud vendors. So certainly, if you have a pullback in prices for some of these higher quality stocks, and the narrative or the overall sort of thesis remains intact, which for us definitely did after the DeepSeek announcement, they could be buying opportunities. And similarly, right, like if you're talking about earnings, if the earnings print does not sort of impress investors and the stock trades down, that could be a buying opportunity, provided that the long-term thesis on Google dominance in the ad space, but also continued strength in the Google Cloud or the cloud infrastructure side remains intact.
So tell me more about the outlook when you think about antitrust issues. Mm-hmm. These names, people have these, obviously they're in the major averages, and they're pretty much in every single person's 401k at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the way we think about antitrust, so right now, Alphabet has 3 antitrust cases against it. The one that investors should probably keep their eye on the most is the Google search case. The way we sort of and we've written multiple notes talking about our broader view on this case in specific. To sum it all up is we think that there's a range of outcomes in terms of the potential remedies that the U.S. government is likely to impose on Alphabet. And in the vast majority of those outcomes, Alphabet comes out just fine without causing material value destruction. Now, right now, you have an administration that is trying to champion U.S. big tech companies, including Alphabet, and is trying to spur them to invest more in technology such as AI. So you may see a different sort of approach than with what we saw with the previous administration that was really going after some of these big tech companies, especially from an M&A perspective and then also from an antitrust perspective. So you'll see some of those headwinds die down, and that's what we're kind of expecting going forward.
So with the 220 fair value and even some upside bull case scenarios, the 205 here is a buying opportunity ahead of the earnings, you're saying. I also thought it was interesting that OpenAI launched their sort of AI agents. We were just talking about this with Jessica Inskip. And now you have Google Labs doing new tool Ask for Me that was just recently launched that she used the example. It can call the nail salon and make your appointment, or a local business, for example. Are they late to the game, right on time, doing everything just as you had planned?
So one thing I'll just point out to investors and viewers that Google Search, for example, was not the first search engine. YouTube was not the first digital video platform. Waymo was not the first autonomous vehicle company. Chrome was not the first browser. In technology, first mover advantage is not necessarily the thing that determines the eventual winner, but consistent execution does. And what we've seen with Alphabet across all these different businesses is that you have a company that is willing to consistently invest and execute in these areas. Now, when it comes to AI in particular, there has been this perception that Alphabet is an AI laggard. We disagree with that. So the T in GPT, the transformer technology, is an Alphabet technology. It was an open source or a publication that Alphabet researchers made. If you look at any of these sort of startups, AI startups, a lot of the founders are actually ex-Googlers. And we don't think Google's AI bench is empty now, right? They have the best researchers working for Google's AI sort of lab. And we expect Google to sort of be at par, if not the best, company with those AI products, whether it's LLMs or actual monetizable products over time through good execution that we've actually, we've seen in prior technological cycles as well.
All right, Ahmed Khan from Morningstar. Thank you. Great preview for later today. We appreciate. We'll watch for those earnings.